right, we got about 3 to 5 minutes each for 2 candidates to introduce themselves. First, Joe Craycraft, who's running for Arizona State Senate for Legislative District 1.
Thank you very much. My name is Joe Craycraft, and I am going to be running for Arizona Senate in LD1, which is our district here. Includes Yavapai County and a bit of northern Maricopa County, Anthem area. So it's a big area. And just to let you know a little bit about myself. I grew up in the Midwest. I'm from Indiana. I had 2 very hardworking parents who instilled, I think, an excellent work ethic in myself. My mother always used to say, if you're not going to do something right, don't do it at all. That was what she always said. And then there was my father, who was a man who fought in World War II. And he was a Navy guy. He was a Seabee. And he was in the Normandy invasion at Omaha Beach. And all day long, he drove his barge boat from ship to shore, bringing troops and bringing equipment. And the whole time he's driving back and forth in his mission, he's being shot at and they're being bombed. And he never talked about this a lot, but when he did talk about it, he talked about how towards the end, as the day progressed, he was having to drive through the bodies that were floating in the ocean. This man completed his mission because of his determination and courage. That's a thing, those are characteristics he gave me, determination and courage. I am going to run for Arizona State Senate from LD1 with determination and courage. And I need it because I'm running as a Democrat. My whole life has been filled with a life history of determination and courage. I graduated college from Indiana and applied out of state for the police job of Los Altos Police Department. Excuse me, that's wrong. Tempe, Arizona Police Department. I applied out of state, I got hired, and I drove out to Arizona by myself in my car, and I attended the Phoenix Police Academy. I was 5 years with the Tempe Police Department, and then I had a dream. And I applied out of state again to Los Altos, California Police Department. I got hired. I moved there, and I went through the San Jose Police Academy, so that's my second law enforcement academy. And what my dream was, it came true at that time. I then was accepted at Santa Clara Law School. So I went to law school, I graduated with honors, I took the California bar, I passed it. I found from working in a law firm, that's not what I wanted to do. So then I started my own business, private investigation agency. I got licensed in California as a private investigator, started the business, did that for a couple of years. Very interesting. And my clients were firms and attorneys because I was not only an investigator, but I was an attorney. So that's who I went for as clients, and it was building. So I did that for 2 years, just about. Then I had another dream, and it came true again. I was then hired by the FBI as a special agent. So I was 20 years in the FBI, greatest job in the world. Did a lot of different things in the FBI. One of the things I learned while in the FBI is I'm a person who embraces change. A lot of people don't like change. You hear that, oh, they don't want to change. Not me, change for the better. I love change for the better. And I learned in the FBI, the only thing constant is change. And most of the change was for the better. So that's where we are here now, with my dream of running for Arizona State Senate. It's my dream, it's gonna happen. Now, I want change, and there's a lot of things, as you know, that need change in our state house, in our great state of Arizona. It's already been discussed, but one of the big things I want to change is the education system. We're in crisis right now. Crisis. I know we've all been reading about it because you guys are a group that reads and knows, and you're aware. So it's something I want to change. The funding, the laws, there's a lot of different things, and it's something I can change. Laws. I really love law. That's something that needs to change. The other thing, I'm running clean. I'm a clean election candidate, which means I'm collecting $5 from people to run, and that also means I'm not going to be beholden to anyone but the people. That's who I want to benefit. I'm not taking corporation money. I'm not taking big money. I'm running clean. And speaking of clean, our environment. And obviously it's so very important, our environment, our water, clean energy. I'm not going to go on and on, but there's many areas of there that we could have such a beneficial change for the people. Affordable solar energy at homes, at schools, at businesses. These are the kind of changes I want to make happen. And not last but not least, there's a lot of things to change, but equal rights for all. I've always been a person that's been fair-minded. I really appreciate fairness, benefits for all, and the laws in our state aren't right now geared for equality for all. I want to change that. I want to make sure that we, as the people, and that's what I'm here to be a part of the we. I don't have to be doing this, but I want to do this. I want to run, I want to change, I want to make a difference. And I'm going to need your help, Prescott Indivisible, absolutely. And in that regard, the $5 donations, the signatures on my nomination petition, I need that to get on the ballot. $5 is so I can run clean. But I also need volunteers for the campaign. Carrie Hall is my campaign manager. We're going to need people. We're already starting to put together a team, but we need the people to help. Now, you also could help in talking about Joe Craycraft. Craycraft for change. That's one of my mottos. Craycraft for change. Talk about me as a candidate, get people out to vote. Obviously, when we talked earlier about we need to register people, we need to get the people out there to vote. Lastly, but last thing I want to talk about is just to say this. I'm a person that I want to bring to the state legislature, I want to bring to our state smart, new leadership with heart. Heart. I care about the people. I care about what happens to our state. I care about the benefits. So thank you for your time. I'll answer any questions afterwards. Thanks for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Joe, and our very own David Brill, who is running against Paul Gosar.
I was going to go into semi-retirement right about now, but I took a little break after I left the VA, where I was in charge of primary care and their computer health information systems. And I went on a trip to Europe, and I came back, and I started to I went to one of our meetings and met with some of the people on the communications and events committee. And I said, I'm really sick and tired of calling up Paul Gosar and Jeff Flake and Senator McCain and sending them faxes and so on, and being in various events that, by the way, recreate some of my memories from my youth, Actions on the Square and so on. But it didn't do anything. They voted exactly the way they were going to anyway. They weren't listening. My dad was a Methodist minister. I grew up as a minister's kid, moving all over the place. But where he was assigned to go he was the peacekeeper in the conference who, when a church was killing each other, churches can get pretty nasty. I'll just let you know that, But when families were fighting against each other, just like we are fighting, left and right against each other, and we're going to do it tonight, okay? But you know where I stand. I think, let's get money out of politics, let's have clean energy, let's have fair taxes that don't give boatloads of money to the 1%. Let's do some smart things in cost saving with Medicare that doesn't cut services but gets rid of waste, and especially pharmaceutical company gouging, which I as a doctor can really take on beautifully, I think. Anyway, those are some of the things that I'll be fighting for in Congress. Now I want to ask for your help. This is the district. This is a safe Republican district. We are here. Prescott and Prescott Valley are there. This is Lake Havasu, Bullhead City, Kingman, Yuma, Florence, and Phoenix is beautifully carved out of it. I won't say that that's gerrymandered, but if any of you ever thought that that was possibly gerrymandered, that would be wrong. But what gerrymandering does is it divides us, because it makes safe districts where Tea Partiers, radical people who don't listen to anybody and don't need to listen to anybody, can take office. Now, I'm going to listen to the whole population. I'm going to work to be everybody's congressman, not just somebody, some of us. I'm going to be going to the right and the left and the center and the Greens and the Libertarians. I'm going to talk to them all. Now, here's how I want to ask you to help, if you would. I don't have name recognition. I'm a workaholic. I've worked hard for the VA, and I haven't been out and about doing a lot in the community. Please, if you'd like to host, or have a friend who would like to host a coffee hour, where you invite friends, not just Democrats or left-wing or progressives, but also some Republicans and Libertarians. Let's shake it up a little bit. Bring them on. Let's sit down, have some time, get to know each other, and learn what really matters to each other, and build together. That's one thing. We need website talent immediately. I am not going to be running as a Justice Democrat or on the clean elections. Paul Gosar already has $250,000 in his bank account, more than I do, as of 3 months ago. And he has plenty more coming. So we're going to have to take him on. We're going to be smart. We're going to do things innovatively. We're going to use digital media a lot. We're going to avoid a lot of the costly stuff, but we're still going to need mega money. So yes, I will ask you to contribute. We are set up on ActBlue. Just search on Brill, David Brill for Congress. You can find us there. Our website will be up next week, and there you can sign up to volunteer for all kinds of things. But we will want to be having researchers, people who research the demographics of our district, so that we can be really informed. People who research our opposition, people who research topics, so I have all kinds of facts and figures at my fingertips or on my cell phone. So we need volunteers. Please come to the website, brillforcongress.com, and volunteer, or email me at david.brill@brillforcongress.com. Thank you for your time.
For our final speaker, Ken Clark is going to present to us. Ken Clark is outside the door.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Would you rather me use this?
Yes.
All right, let's start that. My name is Ken Clark. I am state representative for District 24, which is Central Phoenix. Hi, John. Hi. Central Phoenix and a little bit of South Scottsdale. Okay, so I've been in the legislature on and off. I was first there in 2003 and 4, took a break, came back in 2014. I am on the Appropriations Committee and the Government Committee, so I get to see the terrible budget, and I get to see all the ridiculous things that they do to try to undermine our democracy. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the legislative process tonight, but here's how we want to do this, because we have a total of a half an hour, 20 minutes for talking and 10 minutes for questions. So I'm going to set my timer here real quick so I can keep track of it. What I want to do is talk to you a little bit about outlaw dirty money, and then I want to talk to you a little about the legislative process, and then I want to give you some good news. I think you probably are looking for some good news. So first I want to introduce Amanda Melcher, my partner, and she's the state field coordinator for the Outlaw Dirty Money campaign. And I'm going to circle back and talk to you about that, but what I wanted, and Amanda's going to talk to you about it as well, and then we're going to take questions on it. But before we get started, we want to get this petition circulated. Does everybody here know what the Outlaw Dirty Money effort is? No. Okay, in short, you all know what dark money is?
Oh, yeah.
All right, dirty money is a better name for dark money because more people understand what it means. In short, when you got dark money, a la Citizens United, it's a form of laundering in the political sphere, money laundering. We would not allow that by law in the business world, but somehow it's okay to, share money along all these different organizations and hide it. This is the latest effort by Terry Goddard, myself, and a bunch of other folks to outlaw dirty money. You can write that one down because that's also the website. Outlaw dirty money. But we're going to circulate this now, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it later. Okay? So, Liz was very kind to invite me up tonight to talk about the legislative process so you can get ready. How many people here have been down to the legislature? All right. How many of you signed up for the request to speak system? Okay. How many of you have ever testified in front of the legislature?
Not this
Okay.
one, but another one.
Hey, good. I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, so here's the thing about the legislative process. The gerrymandering has made it very difficult for all of us, right? We know that. I've been working on the gerrymandering issue for 17 years now. And I'm sure I'll be doing it in 2021 again. We are up against a brutal force, a big wall that is not insurmountable. And that wall is most of these districts are designed to make it harder for those of us who are in the minority in that particular district to have any say at all. So you have to ask yourself the question, what's the point? Why do I even want to go down to the legislature? They're not going to listen to me. Why do I want to take that drive? Why do I want to sign up for requests to speak? And the answer is numbers. Numbers make a difference. And let me give you an example. On the government committee in early 2017, they brought forward the bill that made it harder for anybody to collect petitions for a statewide ballot measure, right? Strict compliance, forcing campaigns to pay by the hour for petition gatherers, all that stuff. Just a bunch of roadblocks. Prior to those committee hearings, the most people I had ever seen sign up for requests to speak was like 30 on like abortion issues. On this issue, we had 414 people signed up against that bill. And there were about 20 signed up in favor of it. No individuals, just lobbyists, by the way. Various chambers of commerce and blah, 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 blah. So, now, did that stop the bill from going through? No. It did change the vote because people saw that. Here's the other way that numbers matter. In a very indirect way. How many people here know your city council members? All right? Other than the one sitting at the back of the room. I heard about it. So, do you have any first name basis? You can call them up? Okay. Who do you think helps get the members in the legislature elected? Everybody has a base of support. There are city council members in Phoenix that support me. There are people in school boards that support me. When you use your voice to go indirectly into the legislature, it works. If you know business owners, or you are a business owner in that member's district, that's great. They may not see you because they may know that you're a Democrat or something, but you also may know the people who get them elected, the business owners that get them elected. Go to them, sit down with them over coffee, and help them understand the difference between the ideological kind of hoopla at the legislature and what really hurts them on the local level. All politics is local, right? Use that. You absolutely can use that. We know that it works. But that's not all. Obviously, we do need people at the legislature. It means something when we fill up that gallery with people from all over the state. And let me give you a vision, a case possible scenario. Let's say that the forces in the legislature, the governor's office and whatnot, decide that they want to run this repeal and replace ploy on the voucher deal, right? That's a two-step process. First, they have to convince those Republicans who voted in favor of that trash, I'm sorry, it just came out. The people who voted for that thing, you have to convince them to vote against it. And then you have to convince them to vote for a new version of that. Imagine what it's like when that debate starts to roll and they start to have hearings on that. Imagine what it would be like if any one of us legislators down on the floor during debate turned to our Republican legislators and say, look in that gallery, and it's full. And a lot of those people are from your district. And ask yourself, you want to piss them off? Because that's what you're going to do. When we look up in the gallery most days, what do you think we see? Lobbyists. But if it's full, and you're in a swing district, that absolutely will make a difference. There are members in our legislature who are Republicans, who used to be mayors, they used to be school board members, and they were uncomfortable with the voucher thing, but they got their arms twisted on it. But the numbers work. How did they get their arms twisted on it? Dark money, right?
Dirty money.
I got to start using dirty money. Dirty money, why? Because somebody went to them, because I know this, they've told me this. Somebody went to them at some point and said, you're going to vote for this, or we're going to spend $200,000 against you in your next campaign, and you're not going to know where it came from. That is a real thing in our political process now. Not only is it a real thing in our political process in Congress and the legislature, but it is in cities and towns and counties. Because the same Senate Bill 1516 that rewrote our campaign finance laws in 2016 to create all this dirty money, they apply all the way across the state, folks. And when the cities attempt to change campaign finance laws to make it so that we can have some disclosure, the state comes down and tries to say no. Right? This dirty money stuff comes all the way down to school boards. We know it because we know that it has been spent. The DeVos people are in the state spending money against candidates who support public schools. So this is not just the legislature. This is about people using the force of threat and money against our democracy. Okay? So, and you may say, well, God, what's the point? What's the point of going down to the legislature and having all these fights and signing up and speaking when they're just going to use the dirty money anyway? Well, here's the answer to that. The Dirty Money Act of 2016 passed with one vote. And I spoke to one of the people who voted for that just 2 weeks ago. And this person said to me, I regret voting that way. But I had to. So, if we're in the gallery, if we're in the committee rooms, if we're insisting to speak with them in their offices, if we're calling the people in their districts who got them elected, who gave them money, by the way, you can look that up, you can still look that up, who gave them money, who support them for years and say, look, here's the connection, A, B, and C. Dark money, dirty money, bad laws, kids who are not making it out of high school. These are the relationships you have the power to work on. And the best part of it is, they won't see it coming. They're not thinking about the flank. They're just barreling ahead with some crazy agenda. So I encourage you to put together a committee. Identify those people. Figure out who gave them money, or who is giving money to the legislatures. Who supports them in the district? The business owners, the city council members, the school board members. And start that charm offensive. Start working on it, because I guarantee you, those people don't share the same opinions that their legislators do. So, I want to say one last thing, and I want to give you a little hope here, and then I want to turn it over to Amanda to talk about the Outlaw Dirty Money campaign. How many of you here were active in politics prior to, I don't know, November of, let's just say, 2016? All right. How many of you are new since that time who've been involved? Thank you. Thank you very much. And here's why I want you to have hope, and I think you can. Since you all saw that in January of 2017, we had what? We expected 5,000 people at the Women's March, and they had 25,000 people in Phoenix? 25,000 people. This Indivisible group is probably the biggest one I've seen, even from Phoenix. Well, we have indivisible groups all over this state. How many of y'all went to the We the People Summit? The one that we had one? Thank you. So we had one in July or June, and we had one in November. We're going to have another one in April. So, since the last election, Indivisible, We the People, Women's March, Resist. What am I forgetting? Stronger Together, Our Revolution. How many of those things do you think existed prior to 2016? Feel that strength. Feel that power, because you have it. It's got to keep coming. You got to keep coming to the meetings. You got to keep talking to your neighbors. Have the difficult conversations. Amanda's dad voted for Trump. She worked on him for a year, and one text at a time, one article exchange at a time, one conversation at a time. He has now admitted that he shouldn't have voted for Trump. So that's how you do it. I haven't had any luck with my parents. So do as I say. But have those conversations. Keep pushing along, because we've never seen these numbers before. Certainly not in Arizona. So I hope that you have hope. I hope that you can see from where I'm looking how big this movement is. The last of the We the People summits is on March 31st. Come down. The summits were designed in a set of 3. The first one was getting to meet you, so all the different people could get to meet each other. We had 36 workshops. Then getting to know you was the second one, where we get to deeper understanding between all these groups. And the third one in March is going to be the Getting You Out the Door Summit. And it's all going to be about field. It's all going to be about how to talk to your neighbors, how to organize locally for that final push. Because think about what happens when we take the Senate in the state of Arizona. My friend Katie Hobbs, who's a senator in my district, has a very, very real chance of being our next Secretary of State. Michelle Reagan has a 17% approval rating. So there must be some Republicans out there who don't like her. So we can get there. And I've been involved in politics in Arizona for 20 years. The first campaign I worked on was up in AU, in Flagstaff for Karen English in 1992. I have never seen these numbers before. So know that. So I'm going to stop talking, and I want Amanda to talk a little bit about kind of the broad outline of the Outlaw Dirty Money campaign, and then we can take some questions from you.
Hi everybody. Oh, I'm not used to talking to microphones. This is not my forte. So my name is Amanda Melcher. I'm running the state field coordination for the Outlaw Dirty Money effort. I want to say part of the reason that I really wanted to come in person to the meeting tonight was I know you guys did an awesome job with Save Our Schools and getting petition signatures for them. We're working very closely with their core team to get this off the ground as well. This is going to be an all volunteer driven effort in the same way. We need to get 300,000 signatures by June 5th. Wow. It's my birthday. All I want for my birthday is 225,963 valid signatures. So that's part of the reason that I wanted to come out, have a face-to-face with you guys, and get this area of Yavapai County activated and get petitions in your hands. I have a whole box of them here. I'll be leaving them, and really ask you guys to have these conversations with your friends, family, and neighbors. Ken touched on a little bit like how broad the support for the Outlaw Dirty Money campaign is, but just so you guys have some numbers, 95% of registered Arizona voters want all campaign contributions to be made public. That's Republicans, Democrats, Independents. I'm coming at this as an independent. That's how I got into the whole political sphere. Actually, I worked with Kim over here in 2015 trying to run a similar ballot measure that it didn't end up going through. So we're back at it again. We have bipartisan support. It's a nonpartisan campaign. Candidates who are here, we're urging you, asking you, please carry this as you go door to door. It's good for us and the future, but also for you, especially if you're in maybe an overwhelmingly Republican district. This is a door opener. This is something that people latch onto, and they want to get money out of politics. Even so many of Trump's most ardent supporters, part of the reason they supported him was they were bamboozled and lied to, but also they liked the idea that he wasn't beholden to corporate interests, that he had his own base of money and support. Oh, I know. But we have to at least take them at their word. The things that they say they care about, okay, we'll talk to you on that level, and this is something that you can broach that conversation with. This is a small piece of common ground that we have in this time when we are crazy divided, and people are having a really hard time talking to each other and figuring out how to come together. So it's really important that we all get involved. It's really only through the support of groups and institutions like yours that we're going to be able to get this thing on the ballot in November. And once we get the signatures, we will definitely be challenged in court, similar to the Save Our Schools people have, but because we're working so closely with them, any of the mistakes or anything that was done wrong on their campaign, we are able to kind of sidestep, be prepared for. We have a ton of material for volunteers. We have talking points, we have FAQs, we have all the compliance stuff on the website, ready to go at your disposal. Really, it's just about getting petitions in your hands, telling you where you need to go to get them notarized and how to send them back to us, and just setting up that feedback loop. Yeah, I don't know that I have anything else. I'm sure that you guys have questions, and we'll be able to flesh out a little bit more from there. Is there anything you wanted to add, Kim?
You know what, to predict a question, let me tell you the broad outline of how the Outlawed Dirty Money initiative works, okay? I'll try not to get in the weeds because I have a problem. I do that too much. So basically like this, if you spend in, if you are one of those, well, a Citizens United based related kind of nonprofit union corporation, you spend money in a campaign, $10,000 per cycle. If you spend, you have to report anything that you spend or transfer to another committee more than $2,500. Okay, so that basically, here's the biggest problem we have with this whole Citizens United corporations, the disclosure. You have one entity, let's say Koch brothers, just Koch brothers. They give to this entity, that gives to this entity, and 4 or 5 down the road spends it against somebody in Arizona, or for somebody in Arizona. We have no idea who's behind that. And that's not some crazy lefty idea that we should know who's spending money in politics. That Marxists, Antonin Scalia, even said in the Citizens United case, I assume that you're going to disclose this money. We want to live in a country where you know who's trying to convince you of what. So he believed it. We believe the same thing as Antonin Scalia. So, 5 minutes. Okay, so the broad outline is it requires that disclosure all the way up the chain, which is very doable. Okay? And to simplify it, we're actually allowing the Clean Elections Commission to deal with interpretations. So if there are any questions into the future, we didn't have to write this long initiative. It's very short. The Clean Elections Commission will do a lot of that work. So we'll have that ability to adapt over time. And I think, did we leave in the part about anybody can sue if someone's not, that we have public right to sue? If you believe that somebody's not disclosing funds, you will have the right to sue the state if they're not doing the job. That's totally new. Okay, so let's take some questions because I know we're out of time. We've got 5 minutes here, so anybody? Yeah.
I don't remember reading exactly where I read this, but have not the Kochs promised that they are going to go full force on almost every level of government funding Republican libertarians? They're outrageous libertarians, actually. They're not even
Yeah.
Republicans.
Yeah, the Koch brothers and the right wing has been moving for a long time to use dark money at lower and lower levels. And we know that. They've been pretty open about it.
It's a great return on investment for them. They really don't have to put very much money into smaller races like school board races, water district boards here in Arizona. That'll be a big one.
Yeah, what can you do in a school board race for $10,000? That's like lunch for the Koch brothers. Right? Any other questions?
Wow.
None? Okay, well, so what we're going to do is if you are interested to take some of the petitions, and I will tell you as a candidate, this is a door opener. People love to sign this thing. If you want to take petitions, we'd like to maybe meet out there or somewhere a little quieter. Maybe we'll stay over here.
Yeah,
And
we'll
then-
be over here at this table.
Okay, and then Amanda's going to talk to you about the strict compliance to make sure that these are done right, and those guys don't get their way. So, thank you very much. I really appreciate you giving us the time to talk tonight, and we'll hang out and answer some questions for you.